This is part 2 of our Shooting Quicker series. In part 1, we repped shooting off of a dribble. Today, our main focus is shooting off of a catch. Our footwork, however, is going to be the exact same. If you remember in part 1, we used a pound into a 1-2 step. Same footwork is going to apply here off the catch. I'm sure you've heard a lot of coaches or trainers talking about shooting. They always say to catch, ready to shoot. And generally what is emphasized there is your hands, and that's all true. When you do catch ready to shoot, obviously you want your hands ready to catch the basketball. However, I feel what's neglected is your footwork as well. So not only are you going to catch ready to shoot with your hands, but you also need to be able to catch ready to shoot with your feet. Your feet is what generates and creates your separation in your shot. If your feet are already loaded and ready to shoot, you've got separation. However, if you have to catch and then get into position, you've eliminated whatever space you might have created. So today we're going to really rep on catching with feet loaded. Let's get a little bit more into detail. So here's what I'm talking about. Generally, when you catch, and you watch a lot of guys do this, we'll just self-toss for the sake of the drill since I'm the only person here. I'll self-toss, and after I toss and catch, my foot is going to be back. Then I'll catch and bring my foot forward, just like this. That's generally what you see in a game and what you see in practice. However, here's the difference. Instead of catching and then stepping, why don't we just step while the ball is in flight? Therefore, our foot is planted, we've gone through the same motion, but instead of taking that extra quarter of a second, we've now utilized our separation. So here's what it'll look like. I'll toss, and my foot steps in flight of the ball. Again, my hands are ready to catch. My foot is planted as I catch. Again, generating separation. I'll catch right into my shot. That's the kind of footwork we're going to rep today. I want you guys to speed it up. Remember in our pound 1-2 series, we're really working on those quick feet, right? So similar footwork here. Really have a hard plant. Have a hard plant on that last step. That'll create whatever motion you're going. So let's say you're running. If that last step is a hard plant, it's going to be more easy to generate your force upward instead of fading. All right, so make sure that last step is planted. It's going to look like this.
Let's dive a little deeper. If I do what everybody else does, it takes me 0.83 seconds to get my shot off. What everybody else does, they start with their foot back, and their foot stays back until after they have caught the ball. Then they bring the foot forward, plant it, and shoot. And 0.83 seconds is a long time, but not a whole lot of players realize that because everybody around them is doing the same thing. Let's see what happens if we do it the right way. As I bring my foot forward, it is planted as the ball touches my hands, which greatly speeds up my shot. How much does it speed it up? It takes my shot from taking 0.83 seconds to 0.56 seconds to getting that shot off. That's a difference of over a quarter of a second. The same distance and separation that Usain Bolt had over his teammate Asafa Powell in the 2008 Olympics in the 100-meter dash. Great separation and plenty enough time to get a shot off.
So not only do you want to be able to step in with your dominant foot, which is typically what you're going to do, but depending on the action you're creating in your offense, you may have to step in with your non-dominant foot. If you're coming off of a screen, if you're coming up to the top of the key, perhaps that last step is with your non-dominant foot to get around. So not only should you be able to step in with your dominant foot, also need to rep your non-dominant foot. So we'll do that again, just right in front of the goal, self-toss it to yourself. That foot is loaded, ready to go by the time the ball touches your hands. So after we've gone through our basic reps of our stepping into our finish, let's talk about that action. If you're coming off of screens, coming across the lane, like I said, your body is going to be parallel to the goal potentially. So you've got to figure out how to get your foot around, planted, and into your shot. Also, you have to learn how to do that while the ball is in flight and not once you catch. So again, we're going to rep it. A simple simulation of this is just tossing it out to your side, and you're going to take 2 steps while the ball is in the air. So I'll toss it out to the side, I'll take my 2 steps, and on my second step, I will have caught the ball and my foot will be planted right into my shot. So we'll rep it on both sides. You can alternate if you like. Again, going with your dominant foot and your non-dominant foot. Getting used to feeling that motion. So those are just a couple of drills that you can kind of slow things down and really focus on the details of your footwork. Then once you get used to that, maybe you can transition into running into those drills, running off of screens into those drills. The more advanced you get, the more things you can add. Start with that. Always remember, if you want to move your feet, make sure it's done on the flight of the ball. Once you catch the ball, be ready to pull the trigger.